What is up, guys? Welcome back to the KC Sports Memes podcast. I'm Megatron. I'm here with Marvin, Tony, and Drew. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Fantastic.
Hey, look, Tony's
for this
alive.
episode,
Yay!
oh, yeah.
Tony's alive. Tony's alive and well.
I was told that I was dead.
Actually,
Didn't get the memo.
the listeners were told that you were dead, but
Yeah, by Megatron,
So
not by me. You're
anyways,
alive, yes. Yay, he's alive, everybody.
Anyways, we've got a great show lined up. Pretty much all NFL show for this one with playoffs going on. Really exciting, a few upsets in there. But real quick before we get started, I'd like to take a minute to talk about a company that reached out to us, FNX or Phoenix. They sell supplements, gear, apparel, a bunch of workout stuff. I've never been disappointed with them, their products, their customer service. Really great, a group of guys over there. But if you would like to buy something from their site, they gave a promo code to us to give to you guys. That's FNXKCSM. When you use that, you get 15% off your purchase. So go check them out. All right, jumping into the NFL. First off, real quick, Doug Peterson did get fired. Not really that surprising. I saw that it was going to be hard to keep Wentz if Peterson stayed. But yeah, he got fired. So that adds up to what, like 7 coaches, I think, over this last season that have gotten fired.
Sure,
So,
sounds good to me.
for sure was. So good to see that for that Eagles team.
Okay.
I mean, that Eagles team needed it. Like if they wanted to do anything.
But they said they said his job was safe, and then like a day later, they're like, "That's psych." No, it isn't.
Yeah, because
I thought Peterson did pretty. I think it was okay. I think it was Wentz the big problem.
That's what I thought. That's why I think it's a dumb.
I don't know.
I don't think it was Wentz's fault that they tanked on the last game and different stuff like that. Like,
No, but one game shouldn't get you fired.
yeah,
I think
But, you know.
I think he lost the locker room, and it's hard to gain that trust back.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
Let them go to the Jets. Let them go to the Jets and be their problem. You know, ruin that dynasty.
there you go.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. But I guess not.
All right, so jumping into the games from this past week, so had some really good games. First up, that Bills and Colts game. That one was kind of a lot closer than I expected. What I think even Drew had called it a 2-score game, I think, and Colts found a way to at least stay in that for pretty much all of the game. Tony, what do you have on that one?
Yeah, so you're going to be happy with me. I did watch this game. I'm going to watch, playoffs. I love playoffs. But, this was a great game. I think all of us thought it would go differently. I think all of us at least thought it – I don't want to say blowout, but Bills had it in the bag, for sure. Colts, no chance. But this game came down to the last play, right? Hail Mary by Rivers, didn't even throw it in the end zone. But anyways, Phillip Rivers did pretty good in the playoffs. Of course, we seen Rivers tanks, doesn't do good, never does good in the playoffs. And again, Phillip goes home to his however many kids he has. But notice, 27-24 final game. Looking at this, one thing I noticed about this game is Josh Allen used his legs. I believe he was the top rusher of this game. 54 yards on 11 attempts, 1 touchdown. This week, I think we're going to see this past week wild card. We've seen quarterbacks do that a lot. Jackson, Allen this week, and Allen played pretty good as the game went on. To start off, I don't think he showed that good. I honestly thought the Colts could have taken this game, but no. Good game by both teams. Bills came out barely by 3, 27-24. Bills go play the Ravens this week, so we'll see how that goes. I could see it going both either way. I think the Bills will take on top, but after this game, I've lost a little bit of, I guess, trust in the Bills.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you on Josh Allen. I don't think he actually started off as struggling as you think. If you look at their first 4 or 5 drives, they started within the 15-yard line, right? No field position, and they just kept running the football. As soon as they started letting Josh Allen throw, that's when they started putting points up on the board. I think if they would have let Josh Allen throw earlier in the game, they would have won this in an even bigger fashion than they did. So I think that was a little bit of a mistake on them. And then for Phillip Rivers, yeah, another good game. He was 5-0 in wildcard weekend coming into this game. Now 5-1. But then another case of him just not being able to lead a game-winning drive. He threw it out of bounds twice instead of taking shots on first and second down, and that just cost him in the end.
Yeah, that's what I said right after the game. I was like, Rivers just gave up that game. Yeah, and
should have kicked the field goal in the second quarter instead of going for it on fourth down.
Yeah,
or for the 2 points. I mean, or whatever it was.
And if they could have made that field goal too, bounced off the upright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which
that's true. I think.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah,
and it was
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was actually a 4-0, not 5-0. In case someone in the comments
disagrees with us. Wild card
yeah,
weekend.
pretty sure. It's, well, it's, yeah, yep.
Yeah, I'm not completely turned away from the Bills after this one. I think they had a good game. I think, like I said, it took a little bit for Josh Allen to get going, and it was, like Drew said, because they were running a lot. But once he did get going, they really took over this game. I know the Colts were always right there in it, but I think for the most part, Bills kind of dominated that game overall. Then next up is the Rams-Seahawks game. Seattle showed very little hope in this game. One of the bright spots, if you want to look at it like that, was when Wolford got injured. Then it was well, who's going to come in? And Goff comes in after, just having thumb surgery, and so I say it as a bright spot kind of in quotes for the Seahawks because, how's he going to do? But yeah, he did really good. Surprisingly well. Drew, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, obviously, you never want to see a quarterback go down like that. Wolford obviously having to go to the hospital. He was able to celebrate with his team after the game, so he is all right. But when Jared Goff came in, it just looked like a new offense. The play action pass was very opened up. They were able to obviously put up 30 points, which was enough to win. So very good there. Goff still needs to get better because you could tell that he just didn't have the same throwing motion, obviously, without that thumb. Usually you can't play on that, so it's still impressive. But then that defense is really good. That's a championship level defense. Aaron Donald went out in this game, which is going to be a big key next week, but he went out in this game and they were still getting pass rush. They were still sacking Russell Wilson without Aaron Donald. I mean, this defense looks really good, and then you got Jalen Ramsey on the back end. So championship level defense that was able to get against the Seahawks. I thought the Seahawks would show up a little bit more. They did not look good in this game. Russell Wilson has not looked good recently, and the O-line is terrible in Seattle.
It's crazy the change from Russell Wilson possible MVP from halfway through the season. Seahawks being one of the best teams. I know me and Tony talked about that quite a bit. Probably an NFC team.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seattle was my team, and then I think we were talking before the podcast, Drew. You bring up the scores about the different games that Seattle, close games, losing to the Giants, and so. Yeah, way different team I think we've seen in the past, couple months or month at least.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened to cause that because there wasn't just a big change that happened there. I mean, it's all the same guys from what it looks like from that started the season off good, but yeah, really disappointing there.
Yeah, I mean, you got DK and Tyler Lockett plus Russell Wilson and Chris Carson. I mean, you should get some offense going, and they just did not show up.
Yeah, because he did all right against Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And Ramsey showed him up on a couple plays, but he did the same right back. So yeah, I don't think there was really the reason besides they just got outplayed like pretty much the entire game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Seahawks should not have lost that game. They should have won.
especially at home.
Mhm.
Yeah, in front of the home crowd. Oh wait,
Well,
Bills. Was it the Bills? They look like they had a lot.
they did. Uh, you had a lot. Yeah, that
yeah,
happened.
because that one was actually getting loud too. As loud as it can, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, Seahawks losing that game to the Rams 30-20. And then Saturday night's game, the game we're all looking forward to,
Oh yeah.
Washington versus Bucks. Before Tony talks about Brady, I do want to talk about Taylor Heineke because I doubt he'll bring him up that much because Brady. But this is his first NFL start. His composure was insane. His second NFL start? Okay.
Yes.
First
But yeah,
playoff, I think.
yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
because it was. I saw the statistic that like players with their first or second NFL start in the playoffs, and it was only like 5 or 6 guys. Um, okay, so yeah, second NFL start, but still like barely any playing time. His composure was insane. He played a great game, got hurt, then went out there the next drive after coming back out the locker room. I really think he needs to be a starter somewhere for one of these teams that needs a QB or to stay in Washington because with Smith still dealing with, injuries constantly, I doubt he'll play much longer as much as I hate it for him. But yeah, no, I think he needs to start somewhere. Having 306 yards, a passing touchdown, that rushing touchdown that he had, he was just a very mobile quarterback and looked like he could compete. Like obviously he did against guys like Brady. Yeah. So Tony, what do you have on this one?
Yeah. So this game to me, I thought would go differently. I did not think the Buccaneers would only win by 8. I mean, as we talked about before, Alex Smith is done. Of course, Buccaneers are winning. They did win, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. Now, if I'm going to choose an MVP, I'm not choosing Tom Brady. He's not my MVP of the game. It's Taylor Heineke. Man, I will give props to him. He played great. I mean, what do we say? Second game, NFL game to start or to play. And he came out throwing over 300 yards, rushing touchdown again. As we stated this week, rushing quarterbacks rushed. And that proves well. Because we see the Brady doesn't know how to run. And so I think the mobile quarterbacks have a better chance. But again, this game, Tampa Bay won by 8 points. It was 31-23. I will praise Brady a little bit. He did almost throw for 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. I will say that Brady did miss some throws. There were some throws that he did miss. But then there were some throws that it was just him and his receiver were just off target. The receiver slipped, things like that. I want to say this, though. We were talking about Washington's defense. I believe they only got to Brady 3 times on a sack. And they held, as we were talking about Chase Young, right? They held him. He didn't really do anything. And so that was props to the offensive line there. But they still got to Brady 3 times. And again, this was against Washington. I know people say, again, Buccaneers winning against a winless team, but still, I think Washington is an okay football team. They're not the Jets. And so this is a playoff win. Brady has 31 playoff wins total, and Brady will win Sunday at 5:40 against the New Orleans Saints.
You just had to get that in there, didn't you?
Because they beat the Saints the other times too. Oh wait,
Playoff
38-3.
different.
Oh, right, of course. Because it's the Washington football team who went 7-9.
31 to
You
9.
can't say playoff
31
Brady.
wins.
Brady didn't even play that
9
good.
wins.
He got outplayed by a quarterback that only had one start.
Ooh.
I think we are saying this. We are saying that Taylor Heineke played better than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He played awesome, but he wasn't like superstar. I mean, he wasn't the great. He was a superstar because of where his position was. If Tom Brady did this, we'd be saying it was trash, or
If he
it
had
was
that
average.
rushing touchdown and was like ducking under guys that were like.
Well, that was great, but I'm not pushing what he did at all to the side. But I'm saying, he played great.
And
It
after
wasn't
getting taken out of the game,
I'm not saying
after
that
being
he's better
injured.
than Tom Brady.
No, he for sure played better than Tom Brady.
I'm not
That's
sure he watched the same game we did because as of an hour ago, you didn't even know the dude's name. Thought his name was Tyler. No, it's Taylor.
Same.
Not your, just yeah. And you said that Brady didn't do any running in this game, or like in general. Let's say in general he doesn't run. I disagree. He does a good job at running when he loses. He runs straight to the locker room.
I mean, no, he did have 3 rushes this game. I mean, it negative -2 yards, but he had 3 rushes. And he even congratulated Alex Smith. He even talked to
Would you like to quote that word for word? No? Okay. I won't. Might be children listening.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I forgot about that part. Yeah. He said he was proud of him.
Let me say this, guys. Let me just say this just real quick.
You already said something.
About this Buccaneers team, I will say this is a young team. And really, besides Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady, I don't think any of them have been to the playoffs. Seriously, I don't think they have. And so, if we can see Brady lead this team to, NFC Championship, possible Super Bowl, that's cheers on Brady. But again, this is a young team. The Buccaneers haven't been to the playoffs, and I believe it was it 13 years, something like that. So, with a new team, Tom Brady again, as we've stated, I think we saw some nervousness. I believe it was Chris Godwin, man, dropping passes, and I think we just maybe see nervousness. I mean, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin I don't even think they played. At least Mike Evans hasn't even played in a playoff game. So, young team, old quarterback, knows the style, played in the playoffs before, and he'll win Sunday.
No, he won't.
It'll be a good game.
It will be a good game, but you're also wrong on one thing. There are a few players on that roster, other than Brady, Gronk, and what's his name, Brown, that have been in the playoffs before.
Who? Fournette?
There's a Super Bowl. True. Yeah. But there's also a Super Bowl champion on that team that plays on the defense. Name him. You can't. His name is Jason Pierre-Paul.
Oh.
He is a Super Bowl champion with the Giants in 2011 who beat your Brady Patriots. Checkmate.
There you go. Now they're on the same team. They can win together.
Mm.
Yes, but unfortunately, they're going to lose to my boy Breeze on Sunday in New Orleans. So you're going to have to explain that one next week, son.
Oh, Breeze and the Vikings.
Pretty sure Brady doesn't play for the Vikings, but, you're just as delusional as all the other people out there.
Minnesota Miracle. Look it up.
I want to say something about Brady's performance, because this is very interesting on how he plays, right? So he plays for the first couple of quarters, scores every single time, and looks unstoppable. You're wondering what's happening, right? And then you see the stat. Chase Young has 1 QB pressure on 16 dropbacks, right? They're getting no pressure. Next drive, they get pressure on the first play, okay? Second play, they show blitz. Brady throws the ball immediately to nobody. Third play, they don't even get any pressure, and he chucks it to nobody, right? He's not good under pressure. He's horrible under pressure. He's still playing good football because they have a good O-line. But if you get pressure on Tom Brady, he's horrible. And that's what he's shown this year. He's been good in the past, but he has not played good this year under pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday's going to be so good. Sunday's going to be so good. Go ahead, Megan.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that one, pretty close game throughout. Then going from that one to Sunday's games, the Ravens versus Titans. As I've said before, I think Henry gets shut down way too easily when he's needed most, and I think you see that in the games there um, that they lose, in the playoffs. Like we talked about, Ravens heating up right at the right time. Lamar Jackson heating up right at the right time. Marvin, what do you have on this one?
I disagree. They did not heat up. Well, I I partially disagree. Put it that way. Um, the game started 10-0 Titans, and then the Ravens went on a scoring spree. Lamar Jackson, who was 0-2 heading into this game in the playoffs, wanted to prove something. And so he did. He threw the ball 24 times, had 17 completions, 179 passing yards, and 1 interception. Get this, he didn't throw any touchdowns in this game. Can you believe that? As for the other quarterback on the other team, Ryan Tannehill, he threw the ball 26 times, had 18 completions, had 165 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. Both quarterbacks played pretty good in this game, in my opinion. But yeah, like you said, Derrick Henry gets shut down too easily because after the Titans went up 10-0, they just shut the Titans down because Ravens just went on and scored and they ended up winning 20-13. What? Jackson won his first playoff game, and I'm sure he wanted to play Mahomes next week, but the Browns had other plans. We'll get to that later. Yeah, this. I'm surprised Jackson won a playoff game. It's just the point I'm trying to make, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a rushing touchdown, and then Dobbins getting that other rushing touchdown.
That's right. That's right.
Then, I mean, you look at Henry, like I said, he had 18 rushes for 40 yards, averaging 2.2 yards per rush. I don't know whether it's him or the defense being able to do that, but it just seems he's, I don't know if that's a good phrase to use or if it's a phrase at all, but consistently inconsistent. And the fact that, he's always he can be really good, but then at the same, like last week, he had 200 something rushing yards and everything, but then it gets to this game where, they need to win the game and he gets 40 yards.
Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry have this thing in common, where in games where you need them to play and do their best the most, when they get shut down.
Yeah.
Right, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially when it matters, right? I mean, yeah, playoffs. Jackson 0-2 coming in right to that game.
Yep.
But again, I'll say props to Jackson and his running. Leading rusher in this game. I think it was John Harbaugh that said I think it was that long touchdown run was. I have his longest run was 48 yards, and I don't know if that was that one, but I think it was John Harbaugh that said that he has never seen a better run by any other quarterback. That was a great run. It was good. Now, I will say this. Yes, I'm a Bronco fan, but Patrick Mahomes, that run in last year's AFC Championship game was actually really good. But no, props to Lamar Jackson. Again, as I've stated before, those mobile quarterbacks that can get out of the pocket and throw on the run, Patrick Mahomes with his arm, Lamar Jackson who can get out and just run, be a running back and a quarterback at the same time. I think that's good. Whereas Breeze, Brady, perhaps maybe even Rodgers can't do that as much.
Yeah, you need to watch football, dude.
What?
Said you need to watch football.
Why?
Rodgers runs.
Not like Lamar Jackson.
I didn't say that. You just made it sound like he doesn't run at all when he does.
Okay. Rodgers, Brady, Breeze do not run like Patrick Mahomes, like Lamar Jackson. Okay, like that.
I won't even put Mahomes in that category. The only ones that run crazy are Jackson and Allen, and Murray, and your boy Trubisky again.
What'd you say, Drew?
Kyler Murray. Okay, so this game, I thought it was going to be very close, and it was. But it was interesting how it was, right? This Titans defense actually showed up. I think this Titans defense is a very good match for the Ravens offense. I think that this team's built to stop that, and that's why they did good in this game. So it's just disappointing to see that when they were showing up, it was their offense that let them down with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. So that's why they lost this game. And obviously the Ravens just played better. I mean, Lamar looked pretty good in this game. He still needs to get better throwing the ball, but he looked pretty good leading them in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think Lamar, at least lately, has shown that he can throw too when he needs to, but he doesn't always need to because of his rushing, because it can't really be stopped. I mean, yeah, rushing 136 yards there, but also throwing 179. I think he can. He's shown lately that he can do both and be consistent with it. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think they heated up just at the right time going into playoffs. With making that push to get into playoffs, because this was a team that just a few weeks before playoffs started that we were talking about might not even make the playoffs. Like, it didn't look like they were. It looked like they were. They were just sitting just outside of playoffs. But I didn't think they were gonna, overtake any team in the rankings there. But now they're looking pretty good. I mean, they went to play the Bills. I think that'll be a really tough game for them with the Bills offense being better than the Titans offense. But I'm interested to see what they'll do next week and, from here on out, now that they do have a playoff win under their belt.
I don't know. I don't trust the Ravens. Like you all keep saying, they heated up. Which, to a point, yes, they did, but I don't know. I don't
Inconsistent in big games.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. I don't. I'd say there's a 50-50 chance they get past the divisional, but they're not getting past the championship.
Yeah, I think they're turning that around though a little bit. This year is being more consistent in big games, but we'll see though. So yeah, Ravens winning that 20-13. Did somebody have something else?
Yeah, I don't know. I like this Ravens team. They got some pass rush going. They stopped the run at a very high level, and they've got 2 Pro Bowl cornerbacks on the back end, right? They got the defense, and then you've got an all-pro quarterback in Lamar Jackson just a year ago, right? The MVP. You've got a great running game with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and you got a couple of receivers. I'm a big fan of this Ravens team. I think they could actually do something, especially this week.
Also, 6-game winning streak.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I'm just not 100% set on the Ravens.
I'm not either.
Again, I agree with Marvin. I think 50-50 divisional, but they play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. They're not getting past that.
They're toast.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think there's teams that are good teams that I don't think could beat the Chiefs, though, too. And that's not saying that, they're a terrible team and that they're a bad team. I just think the Chiefs, obviously have the better team, maybe a little bit of bias there. But, I think, I still think they're a good team, like Drew was saying, offense and defense. And they've shown, obviously, like you said, Tony, 6-game win streak, that they can win, that they can, win multiple games in a row. So I don't know. I think they're a little bit of a different team than what we've seen in years past. Like I said, finally getting that playoff win. But we'll see. And then the next game was the Bears and the Saints. Not really any surprises here. This was the Nickelodeon game of the week, so that was interesting. Marvin, what do you have on this one?
Well, for starters, they had children commenting on this game, and that was just a poor part on the NFL. I'm like, come on, this is an adult game. Adults want to hear adults talk football, not children talking about what favorite color this football player is. Like, I don't care that his favorite color is purple. I could care less.
For the kids, Marvin.
I don't.
It's for the children.
Let's just talk about sports. All right, we could talk about children some other day. All right, so in this game, the Saints beat the Bears 21-0. Wow, isn't that a surprise? The 12-4 Saints beat the 8-8 Bears in New Orleans in front of a few people. That is crazy. I know. Can you hear that in my voice? I'm shocked. Okay, anyway, so Breeze, who is unfortunately probably in his final run in his final playoff run in his career. It's really sad. In his first playoff game in his final playoff run, he threw the ball 39 times, had 28 completions, 265 passing yards. See, this dude's in his 40s. He's playing a lot better than Tom Brady. Crazy. Anyway, he also threw 2 passing touchdowns. And, oh, look at that. Look at that. He threw 2 touchdowns. Well, as Mitchell Trubisky,
so Brady.
Mitchell Trubisky, try that again. He threw the ball 29 times. Impressive for a Bears quarterback. 19 completions. Yeah. 199 passing yards. He had 1 passing touchdown on the final play of the game where the touchdown was meaningless. They didn't even take the field goal because it was that meaningless. The Bears did not deserve to be in this game because, for starters, they're 8-8. I think if the Bears wouldn't have benched Trubisky earlier in the year for Foles, I think the Bears would have looked a little better. But, the Bears are the Bears. So, yeah, Trubisky wasn't, ready enough for this game because he was only starting for the past couple weeks. I don't remember when they made the switch, but the Bears doing their season. They only got in because Rams beat Cardinals. Yeah, Cardinals. And so the Bears, obviously, if they needed help to get in the playoffs, they didn't belong there. Cardinals, who obviously went 8-8, in my opinion, they did belong in the playoffs, but NFL had other plans. So yeah, the Bears didn't belong there, and it showed. They only scored 9 points, and they had 3 points for the majority of the game until the final 3 seconds. The Saints looked pretty good. The Saints looked a lot better than the Buccaneers, and that's going to be a good game on Sunday. By the way, you also check it out. Tony, I talked to you by the way. Really check it out. You gotta watch Brady cry. It's going to be pretty great. The Saints were looking really good in this game. Okay. I say they look good. Might be a little biased on that because obvious reasons. They looked good. They've looked better. But I think because they got this win, they beat the Bears. I think they'll be looking a little better on Sunday when they play the Bucks because, they own the Bucks. So, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. The Saints have looked better. They're playing the Bears, who are 8-8 at home, and they won by 12. Honestly, at halftime, it was 7-3. Saints, they just didn't impress me the first half. I did not watch the whole game. It's 21 of 9. It's Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks to ever step foot on the football field. And, playing the Bears. Now, here's the thing about Drew Brees. I believe he's 9-8 in the playoffs. And so sometimes, we've seen Brees and his Saints either get, as the Rams game 2 years ago, got cheated, or just having some bad luck, right? And so Sunday, I'm pushing for that. And also, I think Brady, he'll probably take it, hopefully.
To say that they only won by that much, though, you could go back to the Washington Bucks game.
And that's true, right? They only won by 8. True, but looking at the Saints, it's the Bears and it's the Saints. That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that argument. So I guess that argument, that would. But
if you
expecting this 12-4 team coming out to this Saints, hyping them up, second best team in the NFC. We'll see. But they'll. I think Breeze is going to play his final game, and this will be his final playoff win. And he'll go home. Yeah. Well, he'll just stay home and watch the next game on TV.
I think it's funny. I think this is funny that you say, oh, but it's just the Bears. But you didn't say that when the Bucks playing Washington. You didn't say, oh, it's just Washington.
Do you think Washington's a better football team than the Bears?
Yes, actually, honestly. Despite the record. I think Washington could take Chicago right now.
I think so. I think Heineke could have beat him.
But Tony, the Saints won by a bigger margin still,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
And the Bears probably have a
That's
better
true.
defense than Washington, and
That's true.
Washington has the better offense, right? So they only scored 21, but they also played a better defense.
I
Brady, what was it?
I agree. That argument is probably not logical. I agree. But hey, looking at the Saints defense, they only sacked Trubisky once. And so I don't know how high the Saints defense is ranked. Do you guys? I don't know. I thought they were fairly pretty good.
I think they're top 3, aren't they?
Top 3? Yeah, and they only got to Trubisky once. So that'll be interesting to see. But
yeah, Trubisky is not very good. He does not deserve a job next year. He's a free agent.
Ooh,
Should not be
you going there? I don't know why, but I like Trubisky. I mean, no, he's terrible, but like, my argument doesn't make any sense now, so never mind. If I was Chicago, I would give Trubisky one more chance. Doesn't have to play the whole year, but at least let him start next season. If he continues like this, bench him for someone other than Foles, because they don't have a better option anywhere else. Trubisky's better between him and Foles, in my opinion.
they can have what's his name?
Drew Lock. I agree. They should take Drew Lock.
I'd be fine with that.
What if they went out and got like a Ryan Fitzpatrick though? That could be a better option.
That'd be cool.
They need something, especially after getting Mac on defense, and just kind of wasting time, wasting careers of players, pretty much.
You should come to the Chiefs, you know.
You know, they could also try to trade for Deshaun Watson.
No, I want him.
You can't have him.
He's not going to Denver.
No. Miami's the most likely. If he does leave, Miami's the most likely.
Yeah.
Trade him for Tua?
Yeah. I like that. I like it.
I don't think
Houston deserves it, though.
Houston needs is
they did it themselves.
Quarterback switch, but I don't know. And then, like I said, Saints winning that one 21-9, and then finally the Browns Steelers.
What a disappointment that game was.
Game.
What a disappointment.
I know we all said that we could see it going either way, but
No.
I didn't expect. I didn't expect the Browns to control the game the way that they did. I could see the Browns winning. I mean, like I said, I think we all kind of agreed on that last week.
48 points, though?
That we could at least see it being a possibility. But to see 28-0
points in the first quarter.
Defense, offense, Browns controlled that game. Drew, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, this is my favorite game of the weekend. I was so excited for this. First play of the game, right? Steelers have had a week off, and they have a Pro Bowl center. What are they going to do? Snap it over Ben Roethlisberger's head into the end zone. Touchdown. First play of the game. Unbelievable. They go on to go up 28-0 on 2 more Ben Roethlisberger picks. Now 3 turnovers to go down 28-0. Ben Roethlisberger ends the game with 4 picks, 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Unbelievable. They can only throw, and the Browns took advantage. Browns up 28-0. The game was basically over at that point. I'm just so happy for Browns fans. This was amazing for them. Obviously, they deserved it. First win since I think it was 1994 in the playoffs. They definitely deserved that. And then on the Steelers side of things, wow. I mean, this team started off 11-0. 11-0. And this is what happened. A few weeks ago, when they lost their first or maybe second game of the season, I said they're going 12-4, losing out first round. Apparently, I should have kept that pick because they ended up 12-4 and losing out first round. They just blew it. Mike Tomlin blew it. Ben Roethlisberger. I'm so happy.
I don't think it was as much on Roethlisberger on a lot of those plays. Actually, like watching.
Yeah, no, it is on him.
Off of like the players' hands and stuff too.
They were high throws.
I still should have caught those on some of those. And then even like I don't know, I just felt bad for him because I mean, what I think it's
didn't.
on Facebook that he had the most
I didn't know.
completions in a playoff game, right? With 47.
Huh?
Wasn't that the most?
68 attempts. He was 47 completions.
Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't 47 like the most completions for a playoff
Most
game, I think?
completions.
I mean,
Sure.
501 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and I feel bad for him too on the bad snap because him and who was that next to him? Connor, right? That's running next to him, and he looked over at Connor, and Connor like went for the dive, so he waited back, and then kind of like missed the dive, and that's how like the Browns ended up getting it. Like they should have been on that ball right there at the goal line still, but it still should have gotten it, and then Roethlisberger dove. I don't think it was completely on him as much as it like seems like with because I mean some of those weren't. I don't think completely his fault, but I mean it's still 4 picks.
Let me just say, I don't feel bad for him at all.
Yeah,
We think back to 2016 playoffs. We played them in the divisional round, right? We scored a touchdown to win the game, and they call a holding call on Eric Fisher that I still don't think was a holding call. Man, I haven't liked Ben Roethlisberger since. This might have been his last game, and I'm happy that the Browns were able to beat him for it.
That first play of the game decided the game, in my opinion. If they wouldn't have done that, I don't think the Browns would have won. I really don't.
I think it would have been. I think they still could have won, but I think that shifted the momentum completely. You know,
It rattled the Steelers' cage, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you have Juju saying, you know, it's the same Browns. You know, you have like that, and like disrespecting the Browns. The Browns are a young team. I was watching it with one guy, and he said, you know, the Browns have nothing to lose. They're out there. They made the playoffs. If they lose this game, okay. Like they made the playoffs finally. They've got nothing to lose. The Steelers have everything to lose, and I kind of think that I'll bring it up later with the Chiefs. Like that game kind of worries me a little bit coming from that stance, is because Browns have nothing to lose, and they've got a young fire on their offense, especially with Mayfield. So you know when the offense didn't even get the ball yet, and the momentum was already for the Browns, I think that kind of settled the game already.
Yeah, Browns are going to have nothing to lose again this week. But did you guys hear what Chase Claypool said after the game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
After the game, when talking to Instagram, he said, it doesn't matter, they're going to get smacked next week. So let me make sense of this, okay? You just got smacked, and now you're saying that they're going to get smacked by another team. How much worse are you now than the Kansas City Chiefs by saying that? I mean, that's not an excuse for anything.
That makes you sound like you're worse than the Browns.
Yeah.
Which you are. Which I knew all year, but you know, there's 2 people in this group chat right now that didn't believe that. You know, well, I won't mention who they are.
Well, I mean, you go 11-0. That's nothing to just push to the side and say they're terrible. But
against the kindergarten schedule, come on.
Well, they beat the Browns during that time, right?
They did.
Yeah. So I mean, they weren't playing like just terrible teams all the time.
The Browns weren't the Browns, and they were the Browns.
It was like the Seahawks. It was like Seahawks, right? Coming in beginning of the season, first 11 games, and then coming in at the end of the season to close it out, playoffs.
Against the division.
Yeah, against the old team as well. At home, no, they're at home, right? Yeah, they're at home too.
Yeah, sold out crowd and everything. And that would have been so much better if there was a crowd there watching all the Pittsburgh fans crying.
That would have been funny.
May I say this? This was the first time the Browns won in Pittsburgh in 17 years. In 17 straight years, they had not won in Pittsburgh. And yet they did. May I say this? That was the Browns' first playoff win since the return to the NFL, following the brief MIA for a few years back in the 90s. These Browns, we make jokes about them, sure, but I don't think the Chiefs should sleep on them heading into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm still gonna make jokes because it's the Browns, but like seriously though, the Chiefs, they need to be careful with these Browns. They really do. And back to the Steelers, this is going to be the last time I say it this season. I've said it all year long, and I've given so many monologues that half or most don't make any sense. But I just got to say this one last time. This feels so good. The Pittsburgh Steelers started the season 11-0. You, my friends, as well as many other friends that I know and other people that I know in the sports world, had the Steelers at one time going 16-0. Then they lost to the Washington football team. All right, well that was just a fluke.
Just one game.
Just one game. Then they're gonna switch it to 15-1. They're still still going for the 1 seed. AFC Steelers still Super Bowl favorite, but then they lost to the Buffalo Bills. Ooh, this is unfortunate.
Are you gonna
Back-to-back
run
games.
through all this?
11 straight games, and they lose two. Yeah, they lost. So they lost to Buffalo. That's unfortunate. So now there's like, okay, so people are like, okay, so they go 14-2, but then they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. That is the game where I knew. Well, actually, I knew by Washington, but I knew for sure by Cincinnati that this game was garbage. Well, I knew that they were garbage all year, but this was the game where they were really garbage. I mean,
I wonder if they're as garbage as like they just started sleeping on teams going 11-0.
possibly.
And the fact that like they have a good offense, they have good offensive guys, and they also have good defensive guys. They're good all around team, but they just like I guess started sleeping on teams like Washington. Should have won that game easily. Washington obviously being a better team than we kind of realized through the season, putting up a fight in the playoffs. But I know some people said that Claypool gave the Browns another win against the Chiefs after disrespecting them again, kind of like Juju did with either dancing in logos or saying that it's the Browns.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's interesting that you say that. Is that we are dogging on Juju a little bit for his comments about the Browns, right? But does this show what's actually going on in that locker room? Like, did most of the players actually believe this, and that's how the result ended up this way?
Yeah, no, I can see it because I mean that's how they play. It seems like it's just like, oh, we're a better team, and yeah, I think they are. I think I would say like put it on paper, put those players how they should be playing. I think they're a better team than most of the teams in the NFL. I think they would compete. They should compete against the Chiefs, but the way they actually play, no. Like I don't know. It's just I don't know why. Like I said, I would assume that it's like they try playing down to teams and then lose, but you think that would like kind of set in at Washington or Bengals or like ones like that.
Well, the point I'm just trying to make here is this. I knew Pittsburgh was trash all year by looking at the schedule and just how they play, like you say. Like they look like a good team, but they're just not. So after that Washington game, they finished the season 12-4. The mistake they did is resting their starters in the game in Cleveland, the final game of the regular season. If they would have played that, they probably would have finished the season 13-3, and the Browns would have been knocked out of the playoffs. And the Steelers probably would have had a better chance in the wild card, hypothetically.
Because I mean, they wouldn't have had a team to play down to like that.
That's right. And so they finished 12-4. The starters are back for the wild card in Pittsburgh, and all week the Steelers were down. Yeah, they were downplaying the Browns, and then the Browns they went right in and they beat them. So the last time, and I gotta say, I am so happy that the Steelers blew it, especially in the first round. The Pittsburgh Steelers are trash. I knew it all year long. I tried telling you all. No one listened to me. But now you know. The truth is out there. And it's great, isn't it?
Anyways, we'll see how that goes.
But come on. Seriously, though. Seriously.
I get
Steelers
you.
are trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. I'm going to say in this so much.
Yeah, I've noticed
Steelers,
over the past few minutes as we're
Steelers are
since we
trash.
have the
I,
other
had-
games
I,
to
I,
talk about.
I had to say it one
And
more time.
anyways, jumping from those games into the next week, 4 games. So we'll be talking about what teams we think will win and what players we think will be big key players to watch. So first up, Rams at Green Bay. Who do you guys have winning this game? Who do you think will make a big impact, or who do you think the other team needs to stop in order to win?
Packers will win. I got 2 players on the Packers that they need to watch. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. They've been going off all year long for Green Bay. I think if the Rams have any shot in this game, they need to shut both players down. The Rams have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on their team, so it is doable. But it's also a Green Bay, so is it realistic? No. So I got the Packers winning this game.
Yeah, I do as well. Again, I agree. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, even the running back Aaron Jones, maybe. I don't really know much about him. Just saw him on the stat sheet. But here's also the thing that's really going to implement this as well is the weather. I mean, I believe it's looking like it's going to be 34 degrees, so really cold, right? Rams are used to their beautiful dome, and so I think that's a great advantage. I agree with Marvin 100%. If they're going to have even a shot at this game, the Rams defense needs to step up, stop Aaron Rodgers, put him down. Don't really think that's going to happen. Rodgers is going to put this in the bag, but we'll see.
Blowout.
Yeah, I got the Packers in this one as well. Obviously, the weather, them having a week off, and them just being the better team. I think if Rams have a shot to win, they need Jared Goff to play well, right? He played pretty well last week, but on offense, they have to have Jared Goff putting up points because obviously Aaron Rodgers is. On the other side of the ball, they've got to get pass rush on Aaron Rodgers, and obviously they got a lot against the Seahawks, which is why my key for the Packers to this game is their tackles, right? Because David Bakhtiari, their all-pro tackle, tore his ACL. He's out, right? So who's going to step up and who's going to fill that role? Who's going to be able to stop that Rams D line? Those are going to be my 2 keys, and I have the Packers taking this one.
Yeah, I also have the Packers winning this. I mean, yeah, with home field advantage, I think Rams will put up a fight, but I don't think it'll be enough. Like I said, Rodgers having a fantastic season, now going into the playoffs. For Rams, my player to watch is Akers. Ran like all over Seattle, and they that's one of the keys. I think for Seattle to even have a chance of winning that game was to stop them, and they couldn't. So I think he needs to be stopped in order for Packers to win. But then on the Packers, I have Jones instead of running back. I think with the running game of Akers, they do need to have some running game there, even though I don't think Rodgers will be able to be stopped. But if he's slowed down at all, like I said, with Jalen Ramsey there, then I think Jones really needs to step up and be able to outrun in the running game.
I think the Packers are the team that has the biggest advantage concerning home field.
Mm-hmm.
I think them and the Saints, but possibly Arrowhead as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then the Ravens at Bills. What do you guys think of this one?
Well, this is I got Buffalo winning this one. Again, how the Buffalo Bills played Saturday, I can see Baltimore, but I think Buffalo's got this. I guess a key player for Buffalo is Josh Allen. I think he's going to lead the team. Key player for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, quarterback there. But again, I don't think I see Buffalo winning again at home with a pretty good crowd as well. And so I think the only thing that the Ravens or the Bills need to watch out for is Lamar's running, of course. But I don't think the Buffalo Bills will lose this game.
For me, this was my hardest game to pick, actually. I think this is completely a 50-50 game. For me, the keys here are on the Ravens side. How can they stop Josh Allen, right? How can their corners get in? And Marcus Peters makes mistakes on occasions. He jumps routes that he shouldn't, and then you can beat him. So I think Marcus Peters is a key. He's got to be able to lock in on a target. He can't let Josh Allen throw all over the yard. And then on the other side, the Bills need to be able to stop Lamar Jackson's running. I'm focusing on Tremaine Edmonds, their middle linebacker. He's got to be able to mirror Lamar, make sure he doesn't run all over the field. And overall, I'm going to take the Ravens actually to win this game. I think that they can look at Josh Allen enough.
Yeah. I'm with you, Drew. I'm going to take Ravens also. And Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are both the players to watch out for this game. It's a 50 game, like I said earlier. And I don't know. The Ravens are – well, both teams are fighting, obviously, because, they both want to win. That's the whole point of the game. But, I feel like the Ravens are fighting more because they've been – I don't know. They got more of a story to them than the Bills do, in my opinion. They got their franchise quarterback, Lamar Jackson, and then for 2 straight years they lost in their first playoff game. They went 14-2 last year. Lamar Jackson went MVP, and then they didn't do anything. So, and the Bills, they're finally actually relevant for a change. Yeah, they were in playoffs last year, but they lost. But this year they went 13-3, the 2 seed. The Bills got a story. They won their first division since '95. I mean, it's all great, but I don't know. The Ravens have more momentum, in my opinion, because it seems like the Bills story happens just this year, in my opinion. If they came together this year, where the Ravens is a couple years in the making. So, and after that win last week, I think Ravens have more momentum in heading into this game. But I can still see it going either way. But I got Ravens winning this one.
Yeah, I can see it. I think the story for the Bills at least goes back to last year, making the playoffs, but still, even then, not really showing up too much. Like I said last week with Josh Allen, not being as good then, kind of falling apart. But this year, I think he's a different quarterback. But like I said about the Ravens, I think they're a different team than they have been in years past. Personally, I'm taking Bills on this one. I could see this going either way. I said Ravens heating up right at the right time, playing really good football, but I think just the offense, the Bills, I think will be too good to stop. One of my players to watch is Marcus Peters, especially for Chiefs fans, seeing how he does. But he's been playing really good lately, very noticeable on their defense. And then for the Bills, it'll be important for Josh Allen. I know that's an easy one to pick for players to watch, but it'll be really important for him to get started early because, it's like we talked about, it's tough to stop that Lamar running game. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This one's probably one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most watching, besides Chiefs, obviously. Then up next is that Bucks at Saints. This one should be interesting. What do you guys think about this one?
You better go, Tony, because you know you're wrong. So get it over with.
Okay, well, this one, I just want to say this. If Brady can win, and if the Rams find some way to win, that makes Brady, if he wins the NFC Championship, that's 2 straight games in a row at home. That's going to be awesome. Brady will love that, and the Buccaneers will, succeed. But I have Tampa Bay, of course, winning this game. But just because, here's the thing, just because I want them to win. I'm biased towards Tom Brady, but I will say this. If the Saints win, I'm not going to be like, oh, how did that happen? I mean, obviously, the Saints are a good team, but I'm choosing Tampa Bay just because. Again, as I stated before, this is in New Orleans. This is a Superdome. This is I stated this before, the stadium, Superdome's high on the list. And so that I don't know, are they allowing crowds? I think at least a little bit. And so that's, of course, a little advantage to New Orleans. Of course, player to watch out for, the best quarterback to ever play, Tom Brady. And then also Drew Brees, of course, playing in as Marvin pointed out, possibly last season for Brees. And so maybe he has something to play for. But you look at the Saints, right? Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas is back, so those are players to watch out for. Also on the other side, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, and so good game. I cannot wait for this, and it's sad because Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are going to be calling the game and have it on mute. I'm just, but yeah, good game. I'm really excited for this one. It's my game of the week.
Yeah, everything you said was correct, except for the part where you said the Bucks would win, and that's obviously wrong because I do recall that this is Drew Brees' 15th season with New Orleans, and over the course of those 15 seasons, he's played Tampa Bay twice each year. So I think he's familiar with that team quite well. Just because Tom Brady is on that team now does not make no difference. Even when he played against Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots, Drew Brees still won. So my point is, Brees and Brady are GOATs. You say Brady is the GOAT, and I'm not disagreeing with you, he is. But you got two GOATs, two 40-year-old some quarterbacks playing in this game at New Orleans. This is, in all likelihood, win or lose, Brees' final game in New Orleans. Do you honestly think he's not going to try and win his final game at home? Seriously. The Saints.
Yeah.
I got the Saints winning. They already beat the Bucks twice, big in the regular season, with Brady on that roster at New Orleans, at Tampa Bay. In their last matchup, the Bucks only had a field goal all game. Not saying that's how it's going to be this time. I do expect touchdown from Brady. I expect this to be the showdown that we've been waiting all season. I don't expect this to be a blowout from the Saints. I expect it to be an actual matchup with the Bucks. But I got Saints winning. Players to watch out for are Drew Brees and Tom Brady, obviously, and the players you mentioned, Michael Thomas and Mike Evans. But,
I can see a 50-50 win. I'm going to be pulling for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I
will say that. I'm going to be honest. Okay, I can, right? But how about 51-49?
That's your score prediction?
No. 51 never mind. But no, I can see I'm pulling for Tom Brady. But yes, Saints are a good team, and that's scary.
Yeah,
and I can see them winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Saints gonna win. Saints will win. That's all. Saints will win.
I think this is another completely 50-50 game of the week. I could see it definitely going either way. I like the Saints a little bit more in this one just because if you look at the regular season, they beat them twice, and the last time they matched up, it was 38-0 going into the Bucks' final drive of the game, right? I think it'll be very close this time. I think that both teams will fight till the end, and so it'll be a very entertaining game. One key for me for the Buccaneers is Antonio Brown, right? What can this man do? Because you got Godwin, and you've got Evans, but can Antonio Brown keep up what he's doing? He's been a reliable target these last few games. When Brady's been heating up, he's been a very reliable target. And then on the Saints side, I hate to bring this guy up, but how about CJ Gardner Johnson? Getting a guy to punch him last week, just aggravating the other team. Could one of those receivers get mad and get thrown out of the game? I think that could be a big key for the Saints side. And I know that's a little weird key, but it could be interesting to watch.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good player too, even just like all around on defense. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I think I got Saints on this one. This one's not as much of a 50-50 for me because like we talked about, last game was 38-3. Just watching the Saints defense, I mean, even against the Chiefs, they'll do what it takes to win, even sometimes playing dirty, in my opinion. But, I think one of the keys is on the Bucks. Obviously, Brady, again, an easy one to pick. But I think if he doesn't play well, it's going to end up like the last matchup, I think. And then for the Saints is Kamara. I think it'll be like big to get him started early. But he's not only a rushing running back. He's a good receiver. I think another key for the Saints, I mean, like we've talked about with Brady a lot, is their pass rushing. If they can get pressure on Brady. He's kind of done, and so I think, yeah, I for sure have Saints winning this one. But I think it'll be a good matchup either way, no matter what happens. Two veteran quarterbacks facing.
We're probably playing against each other for the last time. That's what it sounds like. So better be good.
It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. I mean, it's happened multiple times, but it's just hard to do. The Saints crushed them last time. They may come out with the same game plan. The Bucs come out with a different game plan. So I think it'll be close.
Yeah.
Go Saints.
And then, so yeah, that one being Sunday night, and then saving the best for last, the Sunday afternoon game, Browns at Chiefs. This one will be interesting. This one's kind of tough for me, honestly. What do you guys think about this one?
True.
Okay, I can go. So this is going to be a very interesting game. First off, I just want to say I think this is going to be the Chiefs. I think they'll probably actually win by double-digit points. Obviously, I'm a big fan, so I may have a little bit of a bias, but I do think the Chiefs are a much better team than the Browns. What's interesting to me, though, is that the Browns, as Megatron said, they have nothing to lose in this game. The Chiefs are favored by 10 points. That's a disrespectful spread for the divisional round, right? They have nothing, and so the Chiefs start off slow a lot. If the Chiefs were to start off slow again, and let's say that the Browns get a 14-0 lead, a 21-0 lead, how can the Chiefs stop it, right? Because the Browns are going to rely on that run game. They've got Kareem Hunt, they got Nick Chubb. So for the key for the Browns is if they do get one of those leads, they need to be able to rely on those guys. Those guys need to be able to put pressure on them, own the time of possession. And then for the Chiefs, if that were to happen, they need to get Chris Jones going. We know what pass rush he can get. We need to see him stop the run and get the ball back in Mahomes' hands because we know that Mahomes will lead you back if you give him the ball.
It's not like we were down 24-0 in the divisional round last year and won 51-31. That didn't happen at all.
That was one of the best games I've ever seen.
They better not do that again, though. Please don't do that again. That was too stressful.
All I'm saying is that time we were against Carlos Hyde. You're not running the clock with Carlos Hyde. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you can. That's the Browns' big chance.
Difference is, though, we have Mahomes. That's our secret weapon with our other secret weapons, like, Le'Veon Bell, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, assuming he's playing. As far as I know, he is. You got Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins. You got Travis Kelce. Just a few guys. No one major on defense. You got a Tyrann Mathieu. You got Frank Clark, Chris Jones. Just a few no names. So I'm sure. Yeah. I got Chiefs too. Surprising. Might be a little biased because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'm not sleeping on the Browns though. Those Cleveland Browns, they're not the same Browns, despite what Juju, what's his name, says. Those ain't some nameless gray faces, or how he put it. No. Those Cleveland Browns they're they can beat the 2019 Houston Texans. These Cleveland Browns, I can't sleep on them. I can honestly see them upsetting us, which I wouldn't really like. Even though on Facebook, during the game that night, I was caught in a moment. I was like, you know what? They can beat us. I don't care. I'm like, no. Younger me has to go back and slap the face. And that is not what I want on Sunday. I want Chiefs to win. Stupid younger me. Anyways, but seriously though, those Browns, the Steelers slept on them, and they paid the price. I don't want Chiefs to do the same thing. All right.
Yeah.
This is a revenge game for Kareem Hunt. I don't know why. You got kicked off for a reason, but he said this game is personal, which I can get that. You're playing against your old team for the first time. Makes sense. It's you return to your old stadium. I get it, but this I don't know why he called it a revenge game or why it's personal. I mean, but you got to think about that though. Chiefs got to, we're playing against Kareem Hunt for the first time, so they got to find a way to contain him and Nick Chubb and Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. They've dueled before, and in college, whew, that matchup. I mean, Drew, do you have the stats on you?
Yeah, let me get those.
But that matchup, yeah, Yeah, Mahomes, Mayfield. You go ahead. They went off in that game.
Mahomes was 52 of 88 for 734 yards, 819 total yards, and 5 touchdowns. Baker 27 of 36 for 545 and 7 total touchdowns.
Insane. They have played each other once since then in Cleveland back in 2018. That game was nowhere near like that. But both teams have changed a lot since then. The Chiefs have since won a Super Bowl, and the Browns have since made the playoffs and won a playoff game for the first time since 1994. Crazy. These Browns, honestly, I wanted the Browns somehow, some way. We got the Browns, and I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of nervous. I still have Chiefs winning, but I can see the Browns upsetting us. And if they do, if they seriously beat us, fair and square, they will have my respect because Browns fans, they've stepped up. And Chiefs fans, we got over the hump last year. We finally got our way for a change, which was so nice. And I still want to go back to back. But like, if Browns can do it, they have my respect. But I still have Chiefs taking this game. But I think it'll be close. I don't have Chiefs winning by double digits. The Browns, they're going to be tough.
I agree.
Which is really weird to say. Sorry.
I think, yeah, Chiefs can't sleep on this, right? Falcons game, that shouldn't happen, right? And so, wasn't that the last game that all the starters played, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll say they've had 2-3 weeks off. And so again, yeah, I agree fully. I think Cleveland loses this game, but the Chiefs cannot sleep on this. I don't see a double-digit win, honestly. Close game, Chiefs still win, but players to watch out for. I think I don't know, every person on the roster of Kansas City, and and then for Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, double threat, Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and so I think this is going to be a good game, close game. Both teams fighting for something. Kansas City trying to get back to the Super Bowl, and Browns trying to prove themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And one thing I would like to bring out about the Browns that we didn't talk about is they were without like 5 coaches, including their head coach, in the last game against the Steelers, and they still won by that much. So what can they do in the playoffs with their coaching staff back and the players back? I'm still picking Kansas City on this one. I think we've shown that even when we do sleep on teams, which I think we've done too much during the season, honestly. But even when we do that, we still find a way to win. And so I think if Browns do that, the 28-0, like Marvin said, we've been 24-0. Still came back to win by a lot. I think keys to watch out for, Kareem Hunt for sure. Said especially for Chiefs fans, like you said, that this game is personal, but it was because we cut him for kicking a lady. So I mean, I think it's more understandable. But if he's taking this game personal, I mean, I think that all the Browns players seem to have a chip on their shoulder, whether it's legitimate or they're creating it for themselves. In either way, that's going to give them a fire to try and win the game. Like I said, about the guy that I was watching it with saying like they have nothing to lose. They've already won one playoff game, so if they lose now, then they already have that. I think Chiefs have way more to lose. Reigning Super Bowl champs. My key for the Chiefs, another kind of easy one to pick is Patrick Mahomes. But I mean, you take what he did the last game, against the Falcons. Even in that game, he admitted that his throws were off. So I think this game will depend on whether he can stay on top of his throws, especially getting pressure from guys like Myles Garrett, ones like that, seeing how the line can hold up against those guys, seeing what Mahomes can really do. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. I just want to put either way, but
I just want to point one thing out. Our closest playoff game last year, an 11-point win. Right, double-digit points isn't something. It doesn't mean it has to be a blowout. It could still be close, but I still think we'll win by around 10 and have that double-digit win.
And this is kind of random, but I've been thinking this week, since we now know we're playing the Browns, the past few years, there have been 2 teams in the AFC that have shocked everybody, who went from the wild card to the AFC Championship game: the 2017 Jaguars and the 2019 Titans. If the Chiefs are not careful, the Browns could do that in 2020. I mean, they put up 48 points against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. 48 points. The Cleveland Browns. So
I think if the Browns win this game, they go to the Super Bowl.
I can see that too. Because
if they can beat the Chiefs, they
beat
could
anybody. They
beat
beat
Ravens.
anybody.
Yeah.
Chiefs are the team to beat, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Them and
and I
Packers.
think Browns. I think Browns can easily do that and beat the Chiefs, and I say that because I think they can do it. I don't think they will do it, but if the Chiefs aren't careful, I think Browns can easily win the game. So
I think the Browns win if the Chiefs.
Sleep on it.
It's the Chiefs' fault that they lose. I don't think it's the Browns are a better team. I think it's Chiefs play terrible. That's the reason why the Browns win.
I think,
They're not the same Browns.
but if the Browns play the way they played against the Steelers, they're not beating the Chiefs. They're not beating the Bills or the Ravens. I mean, they got a lot handed to them by 4 picks from Big Ben and a touchdown to open up the game, right? The Browns could play better, yes, but they did not play fantastic against the Steelers. So I'm not going to say that even if they do beat the Chiefs, that could be on the Chiefs. I wouldn't hand them a Super Bowl. I mean, the Bills and Ravens are very, very good football teams.
yeah, I just think Browns have and the phrase I've used, like a young fire to them, to where if they beat the Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions, I think that could push them to be able to beat teams like Bills and Ravens.
They lost to the Jets, though.
We won't talk about that, though.
But besides that, that's one game.
Yeah.
No, yeah, really looking forward to that matchup. The 2 young quarterbacks there. Baker Mayfield being the oldest quarterback in the AFC playoffs right now at 25.
Yeah.
So a lot of young guys there, a lot of older guys in the NFC, with Goff being the youngest quarterback by 11 years. He's like 27.
Speaking of the Browns, I know I should have said this earlier. Heading into this season, did any of us expect the Browns to be where they are right now?
Mm-hmm.
No. So you got to keep that in mind too. No one was expecting the Browns, not even the Browns themselves, to be in this game in the playoffs against the reigning Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
The Browns are making me nervous. I still have Chiefs pulling it off, but the Browns are making me nervous.
Yeah, and even if they lose this game, finally making the playoffs, getting a playoff win, I'm excited for years to come with Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
Yeah, me too, obviously. If they beat us, I'm still rooting for the Browns. Come on. That franchise has suffered long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one like I said, Sunday afternoon. And then I want to wrap it up. Coming up in other sports news, Missouri basketballs have had a lot of their games postponed lately, so they haven't gotten to play some of their games. In MLB news, Francisco Lindor was traded to the Mets, so that should be interesting. Don't really know how good of a Mets team there is there anymore, but that'll definitely help. A really good player there. Alabama versus Ohio State. Alabama winning the national championship. A pretty good game there. And then, as I said, Chiefs versus Browns on Sunday at 2:05. Thank you, Marvin, Drew, and Tony, for your comments. Thank you to the fans for listening and supporting. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can also listen to this podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and most streaming apps. This has been another KC Sports Memes podcast.